Okay, I've been out for my run. I've come and in Charlie's chair, I thought that was sick. I thought he'd been sick, but it's too dark. It's a frog in Charlie's chair. I should think Brambles has put him there.
So good morning, guys. It's been a couple of busy days actually, and there's not been that much of interest to show you, but I do promise this is all going to be worth it, because once we get sorted we can get cracking on the stuff we actually want to do. So I'm getting a whole host of stuff that will probably be full. I've got to sort out in here, if you can see that. It's a mess anyway, getting the stuff into the workshop. But I don't know if you remember, when we first bought the house, we were trying to negotiate with the seller to buy the furniture so we could move in before we completed, but we never, unfortunately, managed to come to an arrangement, despite a very generous offer from our part, by the way. But anyway, and the irony of it all is that when they left most of the stuff here anyway. So I have no idea what he was playing at. He could have made a few thousand, or nearly 10,000 euros on that deal, but he never bothered. So I'm still dealing with clearing out his stuff. Now some of it is useful actually. There's a few things which I can reuse. There's some nice consumables for the pool plumbing and things, which is always useful. But as with everybody else's stash, there's a lot of rubbish as well. So I'm not gonna film it too much. I will keep you updated as I get through this, but I just want to get it done and get cracking with the exciting stuff.
Hattie's just laid an egg. She wants everyone to know. That's baby dinosaur, her beloved other half. You can hear her. Here he comes, running to the rescue. Hattie's going through the molt at the minute, so she looks a bit rough. Shedding her old feathers and getting some new feathers. But baby still loves her. Look at him flirting with her. Right, baby, flirting with Hattie. It's time to get some dahlia bulbs in. Right, I've planted the tubers. I've put canes to mark where they are, just for now. And so I've got big pom-pom ones here. So I've tried to keep the tallest ones on the outside of the flower bed, and I put the shorter growing dahlias, sorry, the big ones in the middle, the taller ones, the pom-pom, and then the shorter ones on the outside, so you can see all of them. I've left quite a lot of space between them all as well, so when the seeds come up, because I've got some seeds, dahlia seeds planted, so I can fill any gaps. So they're all along here. See if you can see where the canes are. And then I've got a big gap here. And then I've planted some just down here as well. Can't wait. I've just finished doing the dahlia bulbs. Peter said he wants my help. I'm not sure if I should disappear.
Look, I found your seat at the back of the motorbike. How cool is that?
He thinks I'm a munchkin.
I think you'd look great on it.
Thank you.
Well, we can pop it back here, look.
Please could you tell me what this help is that you need?
I need your muscles. Your massive muscles. Give me a hand with the toolbox, which is really heavy.
Which toolbox?
Just needs to go from the floor to the bench.
Oh, okay. And then can I have a cup of tea?
And then I think we should have a nice cup of tea and maybe a slice of cake.
We haven't got any cake. Oh, Tommy wants to go in the trailer.
Tom, that's full of dangerous things.
It's all rubbish for the tip.
Tom is here to help. Tom, are you going to help?
Hey, Tom. Oh. Which way should we put him? Over there? Where are you putting the toolbox?
Just up here, yeah.
You can go up here, look, Tom. That's it.
Right, which end would you like to be at?
None.
Okay. Just getting close. And the drawers will open, so it needs to have a slight slant to the rear. So when you're ready.
Go on then. I'm not high enough.
Brilliant. So it's been a very, very long day. Very long day, but lots achieved today. Just doing more of the same, not very interesting, so I haven't filmed it, but just clearing. When we arrived, we had all the workshop boxes and the motorcycle stuff and all that camping stuff, and everything was just thrown into the 3 barns. So, you know, some of them had tools, and those have gone into the M1 that needs finishing, and some have gone upstairs for long-term storage. And this one is becoming sort of a paint store, masonry, electrics, those sorts of jobs that won't take, you know, that won't need to go into the workshop. Those spares can come in here, which is quite accessible. And the other main thing for here is for the motorbikes. Eventually they're going to go into the main vehicle barn, which has got the Arbury, the big shed, in at the moment. So that's got to come out of the way, and they were living in that, and we've got to rebuild that onto the lakeside. But let's just show you what we've achieved today. So we've got the World War II motorcycle and sidecar without the sidecar. There's a 1940s French bike under there which needs recommissioning. That came from a shop. I didn't pay very much at all for that. Nobody will probably know on my channel, this is an RD350LC, and I've got another one in bits, in boxes. And then we come through here. This is the paint store. So we've got wood stains, varnishes, we've got some chemicals on the top there, and then we've got household paints, exterior interior paints, varnishes, spray paints, and then going down there's a bit of vehicle stuff there, some oil and so on. And then we've got some boxes of tools that we don't use all the time, but you know, the breakers there, and a few electrical, there's a whole box of breakers and electrical bits. Cabling above, got more cabling to go up there. And then I've got my mechanics tool chests here. And then my dad has been, the baby James which is Anna's bike. This is her wartime James there, which we're just going through registration of at the moment. So I'm just in the customs clearance bit, just getting that done with some help, because that's complicated, French bureaucracy. And then my dad's been watching me. That's his apprenticeship chest. I've got 6 tool chests of his, bigger ones than that. That was his first one that he built. And as an apprentice in the dockyard, apprentice carpenter or shipwright, you start as a joiner, ship's joiner, and then you have to make your own case, and that's your first set of tools. A little bit of triv about dockyard. The phrase "you've been fired" or "you've been sacked," that comes from the dockyards, from the British dockyards. In the days where you had a trade, you have all your tools. Let's say you're a carpenter or a ship's carpenter. If you were fired because you'd done something disgraceful, perhaps theft or drunk on duty or something as bad as that, you would have had your tools put back into a Hessian sack, and there's 2 options. They could have given you that sack of tools and told you to leave the yard. Effectively, that's dismissal, but you've still got your tools. That's where the phrase "to get the sack" comes from. You were sacked. But if you'd done something really bad, like I've just mentioned, your tools were put into a Hessian sack and then set alight. That would have ruined you. That's when your tools were fired. And you were fired, you'd lost your job, but you also lost your trade, you lost your tools, and those would have been built up over years. So a bit of triv there, bit of dockyard triv, naval triv. Anyway, it's going to rain, so I've got to put a cover. This is one of the first loads to the tip. I'm just going to put a cover over that tonight, just in case it does rain, so the boxes don't get destroyed. I'm going to break these boxes down, and then I'm going to go in for a beer. Oh, and there's Miss Anna, look, on the decking. Hi, Miss Anna. I'm just doing an end of the day video. Okay, well, I won't embarrass you like you did to me. Onesie and wellies. Very good. Okay, it's the next day. I'm very pleased to say this is now all been cleared. So we've got a great store here for spare bikes, for paint, and sort of day stuff. So on to the next one now. I'm going to clear my workshop, and some of the boxes moved from here. I now need to sort out in the workshop. Hi, darling. This doesn't feel right. Have you seen the instructions, please? It doesn't feel right at all. They're offering me minimal protection. I just cannot work it out. I've tried them here, on my head, on my feet. I even put them on my thumbs, thinking they're like hand protection, but without those darn instructions.
Oh, I think I used them to light the fire.
Oh, that's it. That's ruined now. So if anyone can help, all right? If anyone's got a pair of these, they can send me in the instructions, or take a picture of the instructions, send them in. I'd be very grateful, thank you. So we're just getting the workbench ready, and I'm going to replace the edges around where they've been a bit damaged, and just so I'm happy that when we get sorted out in here, it's all ready to go. So I'm just going to trim down. In fact, I'll show you. Let me show you what I'm going to do. So in the last video, I mentioned that these edge strips here are almost sacrificial. You get all sorts of saw marks. The end ones aren't too bad actually, but let me show you this is the length here, look. And you can see that they just over time get damaged. And the idea is that they go first before you chop into your decent ply. But this needs replacing. I went to the Brico this morning and they didn't have any large sheets of 18mm ply in. It's just timber at the moment, it's really difficult to get. So there is some damage. There's some damage here, and there's much more damage on this side here. So I'm going to put this to the back. So I've got a bit more thickness on the back, so I'm going to put a thicker strip. I'm going to rip this down and make a strip out of this softwood here. But before I do that, I just want to, if you can see the line here, I just want to get a straight edge along here. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to offer up a guide like this, screw that guide down once it's squared off, and then just run the rip saw along, the circular saw along there, and just take that edge off, and then do the same on the other side. So the back will have a thicker strip than the front. So let's get on with that. Slight change of plan. I took this edge back, try and get a good edge to reuse this ply, but I don't know if you can make this out here. It's just had it. It's all, and because it's on the edges, that's where all the support needs to go, around the edges. So this is aborted. So we're reusing it for something else. But so I'm going to use some of this floorboarding, tongue and groove. So I'm just going to pop this over now. This is my sacrificial edge. So we've still got that. So I'm just going to put some boards on. Dead easy, so I'll time lapse this, and then that job's done. So there we go. Not a very technical job, but a nice solid workbench to help us with all our latest projects. I've just got to get the drawers, pop them in, and there's some bad news on the vise, the woodworking vise that's missing from there. Unfortunately, there was a crack in the casting around the worm drive, and that's what was throwing me. I couldn't get it to engage, and it was because it was slightly off on the thread because of that. And it was fine if you were tightening up because you're closing the crack up, so it's fine to tighten. But then as soon as you unwound, it opened the crack up, which jammed the screw drive, the worm drive. So I've had to buy a replacement. And unfortunately, I couldn't get a record, not in France. So I've had to get a walkie-talkie thing, cheap thing, 7-inch woodworking vise. So we'll see what that looks like when it's delivered. But that'll go back in there. And then we're ready to go. Exciting.
Making a cup of tea, aren't you?
I am making a cup of tea.
But also we've got dinner on, Sunday dinner. Minced beef and onions. And peas, and in there are some roast potatoes in the Ninja.
Gravy.
Looking good. And yeah, I'm going to add gravy to the beef and onions any moment. I want our giant Yorkshire puddings. Just taking them out of the freezer. It's hard to show how big they are.
Here's my hand for scale. There we are, look. Bigger than my hand.
Oh, and
it's
we've
bigger than the hand.
Got family ties on.
Nice cup of tea. I've just finished out in the workshop.
10 points for guessing what accent that was.
It started as Afrikaans. It started a little bit of black Afrikaan, and that's gone into a little bit of Australian, mate. Don't know what happened there. I'm an Australian.
You've trans-accented.
Africa. I am not Australian. I'm Afrikaan. Afrikaan. So we're on our way to a charity auction and quiz night for a local
Spa.
spa.
Yeah, dog charity.
What's that the name of it? Spa. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the name of the charity?
Spa.
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 So nothing to do with Roman baths and nothing to do with the retail convenience store chain that was popular in the 70s and 80s in the UK called Spa, which I still think are available in Europe. There's nothing to do with SPAR. It's the animal sanctuary.
One passion with Dan, including Anna, let him have a feel. This is the perfect night of romance, champagne and after eight. 32, anybody? Could be having a night with Dan.
I'm going to give it to John.
Are we done? Going once, going twice. €30 to this gentleman.
Yes, please. I just wanted the after 8 minutes, really.
It's a very modern family, this. Got two mothers for the baby. Baby Evie, we're calling her. Hopefully she's a girl.